I want to share with you one of the coolest ways that I know that God exists and how I've seen his hand in my life and how he shows love to me and to all of us. But this is a personal experience I had several years ago when I was living in Oregon with my wife and our two sons. Our sons at the time were 7 years old and 4 years old, almost five. Our second son, his name's Charlie. I remember my wife at the time, she was pregnant with our third. And so I was in the middle of school and things were pretty busy. And our son Charlie had a two-wheel bike with training wheels on it. And I had no intention or no plans of teaching him how to ride a two-wheel bike anytime soon. It wasn't even on my radar. But this one morning, when I was kneeling down to pray, I pray to God every morning and every night. And as I was praying this morning, I was sitting there and thinking and pondering a little bit, and all of a sudden this thought came into my mind, and I know it wasn't my own thought, but it definitely was a thought from God through the Holy Spirit. And the thought came to my mind that said, Charlie is ready to ride his two-wheel bike. And it was really clear. It was very strong, and I felt impressed that that was something that came from God. And the way I knew it was something that came from God was the feeling of peace and clarity, and one of those feelings of confidence, I guess, and just more also a feeling of faith, saying, to myself, well, let's see if he really is ready to ride a two-wheel bike. So I had to go to school that day, came back home, and I told Charlie, I said, hey, let's go and take off the training wheels so you can start to learn how to ride your two-wheel. Now, just a little story about our oldest son, Ty. When we trained Ty how to ride his bike, it was a difficult and a very challenging task, and many parents out there can relate that some kids, they just don't get it very easily. Ty fell several times. He had scrapes, lots of tears, lots of frustration for him, frustration for me and his mom. And it was not easy. It took us a while, but he finally got it. With Charlie, though, I had that impression. And again, go downstairs, I take off the training wheels, and I have Charlie hold the bike. I turn around to take the training wheels and go put them back in the garage. As soon as I come back and we're on the driveway, I see Charlie, he jumps on his bike and he starts pedaling and riding his bike all on his own. I had no clue or no idea that that would happen. That was not my expectation. When I received that inspiration, that prompting from God that Charlie was ready to ride his two-wheel bike, I didn't know it would be so dramatic and so immediate either. It was so inspiring and enlightening, and it really touched my heart because it showed that God loved my son enough to help him progress when he was ready to progress. And I was grateful that I was able to recognize and hear that prompting that came directly from him that was for my son. And it's one of the sweetest experiences that I've had that's so simple yet so powerful at the same time in confirming to me that we have a loving Father in heaven who loves us and cares about us, and that he is aware of every single one of us, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and what we're capable of becoming. There's times where this can be a difficult lesson for me to learn. It's one that I'm striving to learn all the time, of how to extend my trust to him and to believe in him completely and to trust him and to know that he has the resources and the ability to help me become my best self. And he also loves all of his children. And I know that he cares about me, he cares about you, and he cares about Charlie enough to let him know that he was ready to ride that two-wheel bike. I know that God lives and that he loves us. and I'm grateful to feel His love on a daily basis. Thanks.